start of Martin Johnson's managerial career has been a tough one. He wanted to test himself against the best, and it's been apparent there's a long way to go for England's young team, but it is just that, a young team, and this November will at the very least have been a harsh learning experience. Can they finish it with what would be a big upset against the best in the world right now? The All Blacks looking to complete a Grand Slam tour in high definition on Channel 409. Our match commentary comes from Stuart Barnes and Miles Harrison.
Yes, Simon, it's been a tough, at times torrid autumn for England, and the gradient on the learning curve, well, it was always going to be steep, as you say. A team setting out together, encountering the Tri-Nation superpowers, all in the space of a fortnight. But last week's scoreline was an alarming one, and England know that the key issues have to be addressed now. If not, New Zealand will expose every last crack and flaw.
Well, the central issue has been the breakdown. England are pretty good at securing ball, but they struggle desperately to ruck aggressively and win quick attacking ball. Against New Zealand, Mike Ford's defensive system is normally stretched beyond breaking point. After leaking 5 tries last week, the pressure is on this defence to stop Carter, something England have singularly failed to do so far. It's some challenge for the men in white.
The England side to play in this, the 32nd meeting between these two nations. England have won just 6 to New Zealand's 24. One draw in 1997. England were written off that day as well. Tim Payne and Phil Vickery, the props from Wasps. Andrew Sheridan still unavailable with that neck problem. Lee Mears in the middle at hooker. Steve Borthwick in the second row, the captain saying this week that the group is tighter after last week's rather solemn experience. And alongside the record Nick Kennedy, who scored on his debut versus the Islanders 3 weeks ago. A change in the back row too, where Bath's Michael Lippmann gets a start, in for Tom Rees, who many thought to be England's best player against South Africa. James Haskell and Nick Easter still there at 6 and 8 respectively. Danny Kerr survived the selectorial chop. England's other DC, Danny Cipriani, did not. So Toby Flood gets this, his 4th start at fly half for England to take on New Zealand's DC. Ricky Flutie, the Maori, who used to lead the Haka at age group level for New Zealand, faces the Haka today with Jamie Noon alongside again. And the back three, Ugo Monya, Paul Saki and Dylan Armitage, also make it through this Investec Autumn Series as an English unit kept intact. New Zealand named Team of the Year at the annual awards on Sunday. Graham Henry, Coach of the Year. 1 or 2 of these players could have been Player of the Year. A team waiting to end the year in the right way. One change from the side that beats Wales. This is not an experimentation tour. The pack stays the same. Tony Woodcock missed the summer test against England, injured. Namia Tialata, who was loosehead then, now on the tight, and Kevin Mialamu at hooker. The second row, Brad Thorne and Arlie Williams. Williams, the son of English parents. His father, Rodney, played for Blackheath. Then Jerome Kano, fresh from his try in Cardiff. Captain Richie McCaw, do we need to say any more? And number 8, Rodney So Oialu, in a pack, in a team, full of experience. Only Kano has less than 20 caps. Scrum half Jimmy Cowan winning his 21st cap today. Dan Carter's 6 starts versus England, 4 tries and 120 points in those matches. Mar Nonu using 2008 to make the 12th shirt his. Tries against Ireland and Wales on this tour. Conrad Smith, the one change from Cardiff, back in for Richard Kahui after a groin injury. The wings, as frightening a prospect as it gets really, Sitiveni Sivavatu and Joe Rokothoko. 71 tries between them. That's more than twice as many as the whole of the England side put together. Fullback is Mills Muliaina. Well, there is the Coach of the Year. His side looking to end on a winning note. And to the bench, and you're going to have to concentrate here. The one potential new cap is Hikawira Elliott of New Zealand. Hika the Hooker Mark II. Hika the Hooker from around 1982 was Hika Reid, the original Hika the Hooker from Rotorua, which is where England's reserve hooker today was born. That's Hartley the Hooker from Rotorua. Today's Hika the Hooker is from Hastings. Oh, doddery I am not. Well, a bit of fun. Let's get down to the serious business. And for New Zealand, this is now about finishing the year with a Grand Slam. of the home unions on the back of another Tri-Nations title, and with the added incentive today, and not one to be dismissed lightly this, New Zealand will be playing for the Hillary Shield for the first time. The late Sir Edmund Hillary, a hero to all New Zealanders, and the All Blacks want to be the first name on the trophy.
Certainly do. Richie McCaw wants to lift that. He might be the most influential player in the world. There's probably the most improved man, Ma Nonu, playing inside centre, second 5/8 New Zealand terminology. Playing inside him is Daniel Carter, who may just be the world's best player. Carter has said all year, Nonu is making life easier for him. He's calling, he's a second pair of eyes, and he is a fantastic man to whom he can offload. That 10-12 axis is a key attacking weapon for New Zealand. McCaw to stop teams, Carter to explore and exploit any space granted to the All Black midfield.
As we said, there is no other side better equipped in world rugby than New Zealand at exposing the flaws of the opposition. England looking to use the inspiration of playing these men, playing New Zealand, to sharpen their game to an international point where the attacks lead to points. Looking also, no doubt, to use the severe disappointment of a week ago, the wound of pride inflicted by South Africa, and turn it into overwhelming desire to show a Tri-Nation side what English rugby can be capable of.
Well, it can be turned around. When New Zealand lost to South Africa in Dunedin, Henry's head was just about on the chopping block. He's now, as you say, the IRB World Coach of the Year. The New Zealanders are Team of the Year. Borthwick has to lead England on a similar Lazarus mission, and it starts today.
The crowd booed last week. They will roar this team onto the field. It's another clean slate, another chance.
Well, what a big day as well for Michael Littman, the Bath number 7. One of the key leaders in the Bath team. He's been picked there to give Borthwick a lot of help. As a leader, Littman has also been selected to carry. I expect Nick Kennedy to win the line-out, and Haskell and Littman to run at the heart of New Zealand. Target Carter, try and knock McCaw off his stride. These are gigantic question marks whether England can achieve them. If they can, they have a chance. But England, they mustn't lose this game just playing conservative. They've got to play the All Blacks at a positive game. If they're going to lose, go down fighting.
The New Zealand Rugby League team shot the Rugby World 7 days ago. Can the English Union side do the same? Toby Flood in at fly half for Danny Cipriani. Next we'll have the anthems, of course, around the corner. There will be the haka. Before then, God defend New Zealand. What will Ricky Flutie be thinking at the moment? His father Fana watching back at home, his mother Ruby and his stepfather Selwyn here to see it. So God defend New Zealand, God save the Queen. That will be performed by a scholar. Let's settle back. Well, they meant that bit, didn't they? And we build to the haka, the All Black challenge. Can England use it to fuel their fire? The crowd playing their part.
It's very much the subplot to all internationals involved in New Zealand. Whatever your opinions, though, it is wonderful sporting theatre. Watch out for Ali Williams.
And Wicky fluting. Well, it was the crowd that dominated that exchange.
The England crowd doing their bit for the home team there. Let's just hope that they haven't inspired New Zealand there. They booed England at the end against South Africa, but they're doing their bit for them there as Piri Wipu offers the challenge. Great stuff.
England just stare it down. Is our referee, and unlike in Cardiff last week, he will not have to wait for the game to start. The World Cup final referee, when just over a year ago England had used the incredible strength of character to produce the unexpected. Can they do the same today, or is this New Zealand team so out in front of England at the moment that there is nothing that England can do to win this game? We're about to find out.
Time out, please.
It's Toby Flood who starts the match. Chased by Monyu, went forward off him. Good pick up from Carter. It wasn't easy that from Cowan. On his best service to start the match. Dylan Armitage.
Wait. 6-3.
Covered by his opposite number, Muliaina. Danny Kerr to Monyu.
England must kick well against New Zealand. They cannot kick aimlessly.
Absolute must against New Zealand. Everybody knows it. Carter missing out Nono. It's the wide pass out to Conrad Smith, who glides over halfway.
Release hands!
They call him the snake, the way that he slides through. Woodcock and others, but it's a penalty. Didn't stay on their feet there, New Zealand, the supporting men.
Spoke to Alan Roller before the game. He said if people are constructively off their feet a long way from the breakdown and they're trying to play positively, then he'll give them the benefit of the doubt. If they go down very close to the ball to seal it off, he's going to blow quickly. Now Toby Flood. Oh, that's a bad kick. He's picked a kick out of hand well.
And Sivivatu returns it. Early mistake there from Flood, who's delighted to have been given this chance. Another mistake with the slice from Armitage. And Flood acknowledges that he started all of that. It should have never have got to that stage. It would have been England throwing it to the line out.
Well,
penalty, of course.
Effectively, Toby Flood has turned around then with the help of Dylan Armitage, just kicked the ball backwards 25 metres towards their own line, and New Zealand have the throw-in. That's awful start kicking-wise from Flood and Dylan Armitage.
Mialamu to throw in, and the honour of leading the side in the match against Scotland on this tour. And very much the starter with Andrew Hoare getting injured in Hong Kong. Here goes Kerr, through go England. Saw the pace of Kerr there, and is going to try in the second test in the summer.
This is very important. England have got to target Ali Williams there, and England getting their men up at the front of the line out. Nick Kennedy called in to disrupt, and it's an area of weakness. Ali Williams, two things there you can say about him. He wins a lot of line-outs, but he wins too much. New Zealand's line-out is vulnerable because he is too exclusively the main man, and that's two line-outs for New Zealand, one lost, one free kick. Good start for England there.
And England get the free kick. Indication there that Mialamu has to get that ball in. Flood's turn to pick up off his bootlaces like Carter did before. Jamie Noon, England's most experienced back, on 37 caps now, and he's got to show that as a leader in the back line. Ricky Flutie, nothing particularly startling there from Flutie, just played the percentages.
I think England will play a lot of territory today. There you can see Rodney Sohiali taking the full impact of Phil Vickery's very bulky, craggy Cornish head there. England playing deep territory. They're going to want to press the New Zealand line out. Kennedy's already messed up one. Sohiali's strong at the front that time.
He really is the definition of a handful on the pitch, Rodney Sohialu, and Danny Kerr's proving to be a bit of a handful there for Cowan, but he did well to get his box kick away. Nick Easter and McCaw couldn't really locate it. McCaw doesn't like the fact that he's gone against his side, but he's gone forward.
Yeah, it's not forward off Richie McCaw. Very good kick from Jimmy Cowan there. He's having a bit of a battle royal with Piriweepu for the number 9 jersey. Tough on the bits and pieces. That's a good kick. McCaw wins it, and then he does lose it, and Ali Williams, who is very quick of movement and mind on this tour, snaffles it.
There's the mark here. Come up, please, England. Crouch.
Matching each other stone for stone.
Crouch. Touch.
Great scrummage New Zealand have, though. Probably the best technical scrum in the world.
It looked like a free kick with the bent arm, but it's just a reset scrum.
It's Tony Woodcock. Everyone talks about Richie McCaw and Dan Carter. Carl Heyman was the great man for a long time, but Tony Woodcock on the loose head, one of the best type 5 forwards in the world, a magnificent player.
And against a very prickly Vickery, it seems, this week.
Let's hope so.
The way he has started, the way England have started, another penalty. Step forward, Toby Flood, offside the decision.
Big kick for Toby Flood here.
You're going to be on the second row. You slip up onto the prop, you're going to leave yourself open. You slip up, you're going to leave yourself open.
Very quick placement from Toby Flood. He is not taking his time here. He has the range. Does he have the calm?
Such an important moment for him and for the team. Made a horrible noise when he struck the ball, and just wonder there whether Martin Johnson is concerned about the pressure in the ball, just from his physical reaction to that. Did make a terrible sound, and he was never going over. Easter, Monya, he's gone for the boot again. He's got the speed to get there. Can he keep it in? No. Flying Quinn yet to take off really in international rugby. Some promising signs.
I must say that Nick Easter threw a missed pass when the New Zealand defence was 20 metres away, 15 metres away. He had Dylan Armitage trying to straighten the line, and he goes straight to Monya, and all that does is offer black jerseys an easy option to track across the pitch. Width is great, but you've got to hold people first.
He's come forward off McCaw again. Didn't seem to be intended for him. He's one of those that got away from Mialamu, went too long.
That was too big. I want you closer. There's your mark.
Harley Williams was leaving the ground, intending to catch it.
I think they can make the line out of mess, that will do. They have to be strong on their ball, but they're causing trouble on New Zealand.
Easter to Kerr. Now it's Flood, that's flat. And Jamie Noon on the gain line, tackled well by Conrad Smith. New Zealand's turn to get a penalty.
Number 9, excuse me.
Alan Rolland said any sign of sealing he would blow very quickly. It can frustrate crowd, but it does make the game flow.
He's making an early mark here, the referee. That one coming in at the side. Players have gone off their feet before at the ruck. And we've had a penalty for that, to try to clear it. Therefore we get a fast game.
England, I suspect, wouldn't worry if the game's not too fast. Here's Jamie Noon stepping inside. Going to try and pick that inside angle. New Zealand are there very quick. And now replay. Lovely angle there. But actually, don't quite see the man go off the top of, over the top then, sealing it. He did.
The All Blacks, as is their wont, cutting the line out when the numbers don't matter this season under the experimental laws. Blackthorne caught in possession, couldn't get his pass away, and that's unusual because he's such a strong man in the tackle. That's another little moment of pleasure for England and their supporters.
And again, quite significant. Tactically, it's been a good start for England now. Toby Flood finds a decent touch, and we'll look at in a minute why this is good for England. New Zealand, when they beat Australia in Hong Kong, used four-man lines excessively, and they used it brilliantly, and they used Brad Thorne carrying very well. And if you look at this contrast, Williams always going up there, and Brad Thorne is a very important man for New Zealand. He's a key carrier.
New Zealand not making the best of starts, but they haven't in all three of their test matches on this tour. But it's in the second half when they've really come alive and made sure of those wins. Toby Flood looking to keep the New Zealand midfield honest there with those tackles, again right on the gain line. There's Flutie, little show to his centre partner Noon, and he goes to ground. Kerr goes to the short side. Conrad Smith is there. Riolamu is scurrying across too. England trying through the middle. It's Nick Easter blasting a hole there. The locks, Borthwick and Kennedy trying to get there as quickly as they could in support. England go on. Now it's whipped out from Kerr to Haskell. Lippmann arrives. That's reasonably quick ball. Flood into midfield. Flutie. Was a chance to move it maybe, although New Zealand had numbers in defence, and they've certainly got the penalty as England hold on to possession on the floor. And the All Blacks just piling into that breakdown. They sniffed the chance and they took it. The defenders, that is.
Well, there was a chance here. I think England were actually looking to release Paul Saki there.
Carter kicks and finds a pretty safe touch, Stuart.
Yeah, just going to say here, Flutie steps, Jamie Noon, what Noon is going to try and do is fix the angle to hold his man, and then Saki is coming round, and that is the potential hole. Noon straightened his man, Rokothoko's gone, Saki's picking that angle. They don't have numbers, but they've got a little bit of space. But Flutie, a little bit like Noon once or twice, doesn't give the ball half a chance.
That's what Brian Smith was talking about this week, players learning to play in the lack of space and the lack of time they have out there.
Decision-making speed is everything in midfield.
Another free kick decision given by Alan Rolland, and New Zealand quickly into their stride, although Carter this time can't really stretch out as England make the tackles. Cowan. Oh, it's volleyed by Armitage. Interesting. Soriano. Williams doesn't normally find himself at full-back. He can kick, though. He's no mug when it comes to putting boot to ball. He's not found a touch. And it's Monya. And it's for holding on.
But again, great example of defensive play from New Zealand. You see Tialata and Tony Woodcock in very quickly on Monya. And what England do when we get to this breakdown, we do tend to stop and to try and wrestle the ball. What England had to do there is hit the two prop forwards, knock them backwards. Monya's in there now. Look at the England body angles. Everyone is going down. It's like a letter N. Nobody's going down and up and driving them, and then in the end there's footwork on Tialata, but it's too late anyway because England are holding on. It's not dynamic enough there. Tialata and Woodcock had to be driven hard by England. They weren't.
That kind of footwork on Tialata won't worry him.
Badge of honour in New Zealand, always was.
Joins in the move, won by Soialu. Nonu got away for a couple of tackles and manages to wriggle forward a little bit more. Nice good hands between Rokafoko and Conrad Smith on from Muniaina to Sivivatu. Great link work there from the New Zealand backs. McCaw, he's just trying to get in, but the referee's going for a long blast of the whistle there, and that's going to be a penalty and a talking to.
If I say anything like that again, you pick that ball out of the mud when it's nothing to do with it when you're on the ground, you're going to be going somewhere else. Understood? Okay? Marcus here.
That in attacking position, you know, sometimes in Heineken Cup rugby or Super 14 or Premiership or Magnus, Alan Rolland might well have said yellow cards straight away.
Behind the line, please.
New Zealand, you can see they mean business. They want the Grand Slam. It's about securing the points, and they've gone to Carter. Here's Nonu. Gets a step on his former Wellington mate Flutie, and Jamie Noon well, he doesn't bring him down, he loses his footing. Nonu, he is a threat.
And he will be planning a bit of a Wellington storm for Flutie today. What a year he's had, Nonu.
Fantastic, he's really come through. Lovely hands from Conrad Smith. What a contrast. Nonu's all power, his passing game is better. Smith is sinuous, and he's always had a lovely passing game. And that's pretty cynical there from Danny Kerr. And perhaps you could say he is lucky not to be spending 10 minutes in the bin.
Well, Nonu never used to pass when he burst onto the scene, a little bit like Tana Umunga, another great man of Wellington. But how did he adjust to international rugby, Umunga? And Nonu's doing the same.
Here's the bane of England, Daniel Carter.
120 points in his 6 starts against England to this point.
Oh, even when he hits them badly, they go over.
Well, 3 points, whatever. Here's Phil Greening on the front line.
Circled here, we've got McCall and Dan Carter. Everyone talks about McCall at the breakdown, but every Kiwi player is really talented in this area. Dan Carter gets to his feet quickly, stays the side of the England team, so stops Toby Flood from clearing the ball clean. McCall's in, straight turnover, every player's got it.
We never talk about the brilliance of Dan Carter's backside, but Phil Greening's just spotted it. Well done, Phil.
Don't come in!
And here is Carter, and plenty of pressure there from Lippmann and Kerr.
Nobody touched it.
He's bouncing around, who can get a hand on it?
First off that.
Well, it came off New Zealand again. England put into the scrum. So despite England's early forays inside that New Zealand 22, it's New Zealand who lead, courtesy of that Dan Carter penalty goal. This was the attempted charge down by England's 9 and 7.
Good idea, Danny Kerr and Mike Lippmann going at Carter, and you see they're going on the outside of his left foot, so he can't go anywhere. If they can force him back inside into the forwards, if you are going to let Dan Carter run, you want him running back into the tight 5. Occasionally he'll snake through, but it gives you a chance of getting hold of him. Tactically, it's been quite a good start by England. They just still lack that little bit of precision though.
But they might not be lacking points now, because this is bang in front and it is a must-get kick in international rugby, in any form of professional rugby for Toby Flood, and certainly against New Zealand. This has to go over.
This is unmissable if you're going to beat the All Blacks. Tony Woodcock, one of the world's best loose heads, penalised there, going down. Phil Vickery, he's been charged up, he'll be pleased with that penalty.
One of, or the best?
I think Tony Woodcock's the best loose head in the moment. I'd love to hear what Sean Fitzpatrick has to say. He knows a mite more than I do about the front row. But as a Kiwi, I'm sure he'll probably agree.
Well, you know a bit about kicking, and Toby Flood does what he had to do.
Yeah, very important for Toby Flood after missing a difficult first kick to nail that second one, and he struck it very cleanly.
England penalty kick by number 10, Toby Flood.
Intriguing start to this match. It's never going to mend that Borthwick cut, is it? Opens up every match. Kerr tried to open that up. Put the brakes on crucially just before he got too close to the touchline. Ox. Saki. Yet to get into the match, poor Saki. Had a horrible weekend last weekend. But the last two weekends haven't not gone as well as they should have done for a player of his international standing now. Armitage. He was outside.
He gave that too much, didn't he? I mean, he was middle of the park there. That's a very long kick from Dylan Armitage there. But it's a big error as well. And Sivivatu, look at that game control. There's what, 6 centimetres? The ball is 6 feet away from hitting the ground, and he's made his decision. He is not going to make an error there. Armitage does. New Zealand have a good attacking position. Second kick in error from the fullback.
Sivivatu went to the same school, college as Jonaramu. Wesley College. And this is New Zealand into the England 22 with genuine purpose there from the forwards, and one of those forwards, well, 3 of them staying out in midfield. Of course, Oyalu and Thorne to an extra weight in that attack, but it didn't work. England's captain's gone in to sort it out.
It'll do England no harm to fluster New Zealand.
Come here, please. Time out, please, son. Look, Whistler was well gone. Leave him alone. Don't retaliate. Excuse me. Leave him alone and don't move. Touch him.
Got a rattled Brad Thorne.
Well, he's very important. It's good news for England. New Zealand love the 4-man line. Actually, Thorne they put in the middle. Look at his carries. 15, and he's making 45 metres. Steve Borthwick, who carries almost as much, hardly makes any metres. Thorne's a key carrier, Borthwick's not. At the moment, Borthwick's pack will be pleased because they're negating the carrying power of Brad Thorne. It's really good play from England defensively at the line-out.
Wales got into New Zealand last week in Cardiff, and England doing the same here. Thorne going for Littman, that's why Littman wanted to come back.
It's a test match.
Mears throws down from Kennedy, Kerr to Flood, Saki off that wing. New Zealand organised, McCall going through, didn't stay on his feet, but in the end he was nowhere near the ball. Flood, where's this one going to break?
It's not good enough. Last third of the field, England got attacking position, and they've just given that ball back to New Zealand. If Flood is picked to vary his tactical kicking game, it has to be on the money, and that wasn't. That was 10 metres the wrong side of where it needed to be.
Posing no difficulty for Mills Muliaina. Danny Cipriani having to be content with a place on the bench this weekend. He said himself that he would have dropped himself. He had to make the decision. Carter's dropout, taken by Kennedy.
He started well.
Well, he should be smarting for his exclusion over the last 2 weekends, having scored a try on his debut and performed pretty well against the Islanders. Got a point to prove today. Easter in there with the muscle again. Flood, Flutie, Armitage. Conrad Smith hanging on to the leg of Armitage. Did enough to stop him. Payne was there. Mears. Kerr. Flood. Flutie. Can England find a way through? Saki might be that man. Kerr again. England trying to build a position here. Easter. It's carrying well, Nick Easter. Flood. Mears with that low style of his. But not enough on this occasion. And now England kick the ball away. That's going to cost another 10 metres. Danny Kerr it was.
Once again though, just the body angles of England always mean they're liable to flop over the top and be in a position for Alan Rolland to penalise them. Still a worry. What's not a worry has been England's lineup that's gone really well, and the restart. Nick Kennedy, a lot of people thought he was unlucky to be dropped against the Islanders. He's making that point. Saki coming late, short off his Wasp colleague there. Carter makes the tackle again, but this is not so good. Look at this, straight to ground there. There's no down and up and driving. Don't see white shirts hitting black shirts up and backwards, clearing it out. Technically, it is a real worry.
Just inviting the referee to award the penalty. Kano won the line out. That's gone through the hands of Carter. And here's a stoked up Brad Thorne. Kano again. That was an excellent line-out win from a man who's gathered 15 caps now.
It down, number 3.
Penalty coming here. More than a penalty. Off goes Lee Mears. 10 minutes in the sin bid for him. It's a major blow to England and their chances.
And what's happened, England have given a penalty. Ugo Monye goes off his feet one end. New Zealand get an attack in position and then slowing it down again from England. The ghosts of Australia revisiting them. He said 3 first of all. He said Phil Vickery, number 3.
Mears throwing the ball away as well, and that had just happened with Kerr. It's asking for trouble.
Yeah, just lack of discipline there. Danny Kerr's got to be careful as well. I don't think Alan Rolland will take kindly to this ball persistently being kicked away.
So England with 40 men, New Zealand about to get the lead. You would have thought. Well, you would have thought, but they don't.
Well, there have been times in the last 4 or 5 years when England thought this man wasn't a human being. He's played like a god against them, averaging 20 points a game. Jonah Lomu getting ready to rise off his seat to acclaim another 3 points, has to shrug in astonishment there.
He might take more than 3 points to get Lomu off his seat.
Message still clear though, England cut out the errors. Carter won't keep missing those.
Williams. New Zealand though, with this extra man, can they make it count during this sin bin period?
Feet.
It's very sloppy down the blind side there. It didn't go forward. Alan Rolland thought that anyway. He was right there in line. Carter to Muliaina. There's a call from Rokethoko on this side. Muliaina's going straight though.
Feet! Hands out, White!
Slowish ball for Cowan. Sivivatu, that's Haskell coming through. Oh, another penalty. And they're in kickable positions. New Zealand are trying to go with Conrad Smith. Referee's called them back.
Over a ruck. You must stay on your feet.
And these are basic errors that England and Danny Kerr are committing.
This is Australia revisited, isn't it?
As we
At this
said.
point of the game.
Call you forward. No, I'm talking to him as well, all right? In the blues, in the red zone, I don't want anybody slowing the ball down, okay? I want fast ball when you're defending, okay? Don't get in the way. That's all I need to talk to you, all right? Excuse me. Now listen to me. Excuse me, I'm not finished with you, right? Now listen to me. You get away penalty here, he should have gone. He went, and you have a number 9 just after diving over, he should go. Now, you either sort it out, or you're going to give me no options, okay? Have a word with them. I'm going to give you time to talk to them now, okay?
Steve Borthwick saying he's going to sort it out. He didn't sort it out against Australia. It's a test of his captaincy now. This discipline can cost England the game. New Zealand are not getting pace, they're not getting momentum. As Delalio looks on, he'll be thinking we're slowing them down, but if they keep giving Carter and co penalties, New Zealand, as Giteau and Australia did, will just chip their way clear and leave England too much to do.
And this is perfect for Carter, the chance to atone for the error, the highly unusual error from his boot. From the range that we just saw, it's from a similar range here, and it should, from Carter, go over from here. Chance to make amends. Not that he owes New Zealand rugby too much, but his 3 points in this match. A little puff of the cheeks as well from Dan Carter. Even he was relieved to get that one.
There's Danny Care's right hand diving over the top. You cannot do that. Carter, very relieved. Danny Care arguing, but it's just a straight penalty there. No doubt about that.
He's got a bit of space to work in here. That's excellent tracking back by Tim Payne, the loose head prop. Up from Carter. Armitage. A lot of black shirts in front of him to work his way through. He didn't panic. And now the Gary Owen from Toby Flood. Didn't really get the distance towards the 22 that he wanted. And it allowed Muliaina to do that, although having said that, it was still an excellent take from Muliaina, jumping high in the air. Carter with that crossfield kick of his, and Flutie touched it. This will be, well, England throw into the line out. I thought that came off Flutie.
Well, I think Flutie touched it, but I get the feeling Joe Rokithoko also did. England go quickly.
There's no argument from New Zealand. Here's Flood. Good strength from Flood against Rokithoko. Rokithoko wasn't arguing because he had to get back. He had to get back quickly. Care to Easter. Stopped by the two flankers, Kano and McCall. Flood's gone very deep here. Is he thinking about a drop goal? He is. Toby Flood for the 3 points. Oh.
Well, it was better than Dan Carter's second penalty attempt, but that's all you could say for that. Here's Flood trying to pick up the pace of the game, inject a little bit of the razzmatazz that England and Flood and Geraghty combined when they beat France under Ashton a few years ago. Working very hard to stay on his feet there, but again, at 40 metres out, it's a difficult kick, but he had a lot of time, and England need to take advantage. New Zealand, they're not playing brilliantly, they come well in the second half, but England know they're mortals. It's something to work on here.
Flood again, trying to get as close to Carter as he can, but Carter just had that split second to get away. Williams tries to float it, that doesn't work. And there are plenty of things that aren't going right for New Zealand in this match, plenty of them.
Lots not going right for New Zealand. There again, they didn't against Ireland in the first half. Wonder what Phil's thinking down on the front line.
Stuart just circled here. I just want to show Lippmann bringing some enthusiasm and, you know, a la Lawrence Delalio banter into the game, and also showing Thorne after that elbow there that he's not going to be bullied today, and he's got a personal battle with McCall, and he's just standing up like Delalio did for the England team a few years ago.
Well, Michael Lippmann said himself this week that one of the reasons for his inclusion in the side was a bit of leadership.
Yeah, and there's all sorts of ways to lead a team, and now it's Michael Lippmann showing that he's a line-out thrower. Let's see, is it as easy as the hookers say it isn't? Ah, simple.
Dylan Hartley is stripped off and waiting. His Lemier's in the sin bin. Lippmann does a pretty good job of it, and here's Haskell. Out it pops to Care, to Flood. Where's Flutie gone? He's drifted on into midfield. Monument come off the wing as the inside centre, if you like. Aaron Rolland's awarded another penalty. It was a mess at that breakdown, bodies all over the place.
Turned in the tackle is what Alain Rolland was saying. New Zealand, the dark masters of the breakdown, and they are getting the share of the penalties there.
Carter. I cannot remember the last time that he missed touch with a penalty award.
There's the reverse angle, turned brilliantly there by an All Black. England off their feet, it's a call, it's a tight one. Flood did quite well, but again England up to down.
The Olamu throws, Williams gets it down and through the half-backs, and there's Brad Thorne again, lurking in midfield, the ex-rugby leaguer.
England are waiting for Thorne, aren't they?
Carter. Lovely feet there from Carter. Cowan. Not much this way, might be now though, because Mulliain is trying to provide himself as the extra man. So Ihalu, look at that strength to drag his fullback forward, but the referee's pulling out another player here. This is another sin bin.
Off we go.
For the use of the elbow against Haskell. England down to 13 men.
Crowd are very upset. I think the boos there, they're not for James Haskell there, for the referee Alan Rolland there. 8 penalties in 30 minutes.
Key thing to tell you here, there's 1 minute 15 seconds left on the sin bin.
You can see it. I just see him swinging there. It's Rodney Soialo. Soialo doesn't like it. James Haskell last week against South Africa gave an absolutely soft penalty away with a swinging arm on the Springbok 22. He's done it again on Soialo there.
Whatever. But I want you guys to go and look for stuff that isn't there at the same time, please. Okay.
Well, if it wasn't difficult enough, it's just got a whole lot more difficult for England without Haskell. Big presence around the field, back row man, off for 10 minutes. Of his own making. But Carter keeps helping England with these missed kicks. Unbelievable.
2 kicks that Dan Carter is a 9 times out of 10er. You know, this is pretty good. Carter going at 50% at the moment, 2 for 4. This is really unusual because these are kicked. Normally, this is 4 for 4 territory for Daniel Carter, and it's 3-12 New Zealand.
There have been signs on this tour of Dan Carter not being at his best when going for goal. In the silence at Croke Park, he was spooked by it. Mulliain very close there to just being a metre in front of the kicker. Carter, well, he's knocked it on anyway. It's a case that he was offside. England will put him to the scrum. Here comes Mears out of the bin.
They've done pretty well, England, with 14 men. Now here's Haskell. Watch out for 8, Soialo, and you'll see James Haskell coming in, number 6, big right, swinging arm, high as you like. And Soialo doesn't like it. Catches his man, and Alan Rolland has no real option there.
You're on the yellow. Okay, you're on the yellow. Don't be stupid now, okay?
Lee Mears straight into the scrum. It's still a 7-man scrum though for England.
It is, but 7 against 8, and England handle it quite well. I can't really recall New Zealand having a try-scoring opportunity. I can think of one half chance for England. It's a game that's being played very much in midfield, really, and you can see possession, you know, right down the line, 50-50. England are right in this game. It's self-belief, and can they hold New Zealand when they turn on the power in the second half?
Well, the All Blacks have had 1 tryless test in the last 6 years. Them scoring a try.
And they've had 3 second halves where no team has scored against them. So the odds are still against England, but England have made the start they had to make in the first half. They're getting towards half-time, and they're in the game. With 14 men, they mustn't give anything away in the next 5 minutes.
It's 55 tests to be exact. And they have scored a try in all of those tests. What a run.
Here we are. Time off, please.
And yet we still regard them as failures and chokers. 1 game every 4 years. It's haunted New Zealand, but in between they are a magnificent rugby team. A huge challenge, the big challenge for everyone still. And bar the indiscipline, England are rising to it pretty well at the moment.
Going for their 3rd Grand Slam of these shores. It's another penalty.
pressure came on. Off you go. Foot draw. Off you go.
Well, there was a reduction of power in that scrum. It wasn't coming on from the back row, although the engine room and the front row still intact.
Well, surely Dan Carter cannot miss this. Now look at this. 9 penalties conceded by England, and the key statistic is sometimes you say, OK, we'll concede them, it doesn't matter. There are times you have to. Of those 9, 5 have been very kickable for Carter. It's just extremely fortunate that Carter's only kicked 2 out of 4. But that 50-50 should become 60-40. He must make this 9-3, surely.
Well, I've written this one down already on my piece of paper here.
You cursed him once, Harrison.
And this has to be 9-3. Otherwise, the world is turning upside down. Carter. It is 9-3. Now, what can England do before half-time?
9 soft points. 9 soft points England have conceded. They have nullified New Zealand. We've hardly seen a sniff of Rokethoko, Sivivati and Muliaina. There's not been a break for Carter, and yet England have given all these soft penalties away.
Kevin Mialamu. Saki sorted out in the end. Saki looking for that injection of pace and power. A bit slow out of the blocks. The penalty given away at the breakdown. If England don't stop it, just like against Australia, they'll certainly lose it.
Listen to me.
Roland said.
You've gone past the point of no return. Any more indiscretions, if I have to put another 4 in the bin, I will put another 4 in the bin. Is that understood?
That is understood.
Thank you. That's the end of it.
Adam Rolland notorious for not taking any form of back chat, and he ends the conversation abruptly again. It's the 10th penalty.
Right, now Phil Vickery suffering at the moment. Now England keep giving penalties away at the breakdown. They get an easy ball 30 metres from their line, and Toby Flood gives the ball to Saki to carry into a wall of black jerseys when they're perpetually giving away penalties. The risk is there. It's another soft option. It was a bad decision by England not to kick that ball. I'm certain Johnson wants his fly half to play territory. Saki ran into a black wall there, and England gave another penalty away. That script was already written.
Soft penalty, much harder kick. What about Carter from here? He gives it enough, more than enough. And it's New Zealand who get that score before half-time, not England's chance to come back at all, and Saki all there on his own into that wall of tacklers.
3 men, and what do England do? They're upright, they go off their feet. It's the Leach position again. 2 England defenders cannot drive 3 New Zealand tacklers off the ball. It's always going to be a penalty. A bad decision, and again, bad technique. We're harping back to it, but it's this inability to make the right call and win at the breakdown that's costing England.
Flood constantly going for the high kick. Mistake from Cowan, put off by Kerr's presence. Flood to Vickery. Now how's he feeling? Good recovery. Kerr to Flood. Flutie recovered from the hamstring problem that took him off the field against South Africa before half-time. Vickery's finding himself now at outside centre.
That is not the attacking play England needs. Static at outside centre.
It's a turnover. It's great ball for New Zealand, and it's just before half-time, and Woodcock. England still without Haskell, remember. Carter settles for the kick, and I think England will settle for it as well. Flood. Kafoko is beaten. McCaw is not. Flood must release this, otherwise it's another penalty. Look at New Zealand with the breakdown. They really stay on their feet when they arrived. Cowan was one of those players. Armitage taken back into the 22. England will concede ground if it goes out. It doesn't. It's the final play of this first half. At the moment, the gap 9 points. At the moment. And it's Nonu, and he's breaking up, and there's a call inside from Woodcock. It's not the best pass. And that's half-time, with New Zealand sort of put there by England's lack of discipline in kickable positions again. It could have been worse if Carter got his kicks, all of those kicks, Stuart.
Well, tactically, England did some things very well. Kennedy's done well. They've nullified Bradford, and that stopped New Zealand getting an attacking platform. But boy, we complained about England's ill discipline against Australia. It's twice as bad today.
It's all set. Dan Carter has ball in hand. No changes made by either side at half-time, and 1 minute left on the James Haskell sin bin as far as England and New Zealand are concerned. Taken by Armitage, given to Flutie, and there is Easter galloping on! Oh, he's just been tackled. New was trying to get there. Kerr has got there. It's Kerr against New Zealand, needs help. Nick Easter almost in for one of the most remarkable tries that this ground would have ever seen. Straight from the kickoff. Now it's slow. Now England have to use some muscle and then a bit of nous. They're using the muscle all right. Easter against Thorne. Scored from short range against Australia. Easter was the man. That has got all of his England tries from 1 metre. He only got one from 30. New Zealand still to concede a try in the test matches on this tour. Out it goes to Flutie, Saki, almost away, he's back on his feet. Nonu just did enough. Ball's coming back with a weight of tackling there.
Fantastic commitment from New Zealand. Good start for England though. Very positive.
Lippmann spills the ball, and look at New Zealand go from here. Cowan is trying to run it away, and Flood has come across, and he's gone high, and he's in bother here. Has to be for the high challenge. So just as Haskell is coming out, Flood is going in. There comes Haskell on the halfway line. Straight swap in the sin bin. England are just determined to play this game with 14 men.
Well, is the intent to go high there, or is it a man struggling to get to Cowan? Once again, England turned over and New Zealand so quick to counter. I think that is a very hard, very harsh yellow card. It's a penalty because he has gone higher than the shoulder. There's no swinging arm, there's no clothesline there. I think England brought most of the penalties upon themselves in the first half, but I think Alain Rolland there is trigger happy on that one. And I think England and Toby Flood are very unfortunate.
So Toby Flood left to reflect on Alain Rolland's decision.
Stand in the middle of it.
I suppose the thing to ask, did he need to go that high?
Right, no he didn't, but it's still not a yellow card. I mean, basically there was no intent, it's a penalty.
Cowan. In comes Mears, and that would have been a real present. They have ball foot there, but also the very quick care it could have gone to. New Zealand counter with Conrad Smith showing power with ball in hand, not just in the tackle. Still New Zealand smother that England attack so well towards the corner. Carter switching play, picking out Monya, and that's not a convincing kick from Monya. Wasn't great from Carter, but England just Giving it back to the New Zealand fly half to do that.
Well, Carter loves to go right to left, onto his left foot and hook it back. He practices very hard on that, but the execution was really poor. Here's the moment where England thought they were back in the game. Nick Easter going, Noon on his shoulder, that Carter's right hand there, almost away. So close, and then they just didn't have the numbers there. Kerr picked it up, Saki was wide, and New Zealand scrambled out of it.
Let's take it back in, let's take it back in.
Taken by Kennedy.
That's a maul!
England, of course, without their fly half and without their place kicker. Dylan Armitage will be the man to take over the duties at goal should those opportunities arise in this period. It's back foot time again for England. Cowan went offside. England physio spotted it. Sivivatu, a little bit of space in behind. Someone's going to have to cover quickly. Armitage is that man. Kerr. And there really is a determination about this England team. Kennedy's kicking. They'll do some chasing now. Sivivatu stayed in field and there's nobody back. And it's a race now between Saki and Sivivatu and the ball wins.
Well, that was a needless kick from Nick Kennedy, who has patrolled the touchline really well. But we said you mustn't kick easy ball to New Zealand. They did that, and Sivivatu is a very good footballer. He's got no space there, but that's a very skillful kick, and he's quick. And in the end, I think Saki's got it covered as well. But the ball breaks for England there, and pressure on Lee Mears.
Mears and Kennedy combine. Nick Kennedy had to be patient over the last fortnight, had to be patient in New Zealand in the summer, and he didn't get his opportunity.
Behind the ball!
Hello, here comes Tony Woodcock again.
Look! Don't be in front, you're offside.
Gave the Rock a bit of a shove. Sivivatu. Rokafoko, that's an interesting line from Rokafoko! That was that high. Referee lets it go. Woodcock is shoved wide. Form trying to keep him in. Danny Kerr's got it again. Floater pass. Out to Flutie. It's the cavalry charge again after the long kick. And it's Monia leading it. All over Sivivatu, McCaw, Smith. England disrupting, and listen to the response of the crowd.
Well, the crowd from the very start of this game with the half have done all they can for England, and they are respecting the fact that England persistently playing the All Blacks a man down and taking this game to them. Smart play from Danny Kerr there. Flutie thinks England do not have the numbers in attack. They don't. The kick breaks his way, and Sivivatu, covering every blade of ground, in the end is forced into the error there. Great defensive play. Is that Jamie Noon there, covering the ground? Oh, Danny Kerr, the whistle's blown already. If that ball had been live, that would have been a penalty. Took a warning, and you can understand why. He's up for this, Danny Kerr.
What can England do here without their fly half?
Well, they've got Ricky Flutie, of course, who's played there a lot. What I think they could do is probably try and dominate a scrum here and put Nick Easter in and try and drive the forwards. They'll get a penalty for 3 points, that'll do.
Without their fly half and kicker, so Armitage will have to kick if England go for it from there. It's tense up front again. To the point of spilling over.
I want number 5, please. Time out,
This
please.
is a rapidly bubbling pot now.
Why are you getting involved in something that has absolutely nothing to do with you? Excuse me. Okay? Do it again. That's where you're going. Thank you.
Ali Williams, he cannot help himself. Really emerged as an outstanding player in the last year. But England have rattled him and Bradthorne from the start. Now with Toby Flood off, Dylan Armitage, unquestionably England's find of the autumn series, now has a shot at goal.
Frontline quickly with Phil.
Stuart just circled here as Phil Vickery's bind. He's bind earlier on Woodcott's shoulder. This causes Woodcott to not be able to get a grip, but also with the bind, Vickery then can get inside, get into Mialamu to give England that round the corner so Easter can pick up. Woodcott had no chance. Great little dirty tactics from Vickery, from the old man himself.
Now Armitage, first kick a goal at international rugby. What a lift it would give his team and the crowd, who hardly need lifting. Such has been the volume at the start of this second half. Armitage, it's a cracking strike, you know, sailing through. That's the confidence of the man. We've seen it in his fullback play throughout the series. Now we see it in his kick a goal. He got a drop goal a couple of weeks ago. He's got a penalty goal now.
He has grown from a fledgling international into a full-scale one very quickly in this last month. What a lovely kick that was from a very confident player.
Borthwick's take.
Now, as Sean Fitzpatrick said, England need to be smart. They need to be playing in New Zealand territory, and when they kick, they need to kick well. New Zealand are still likely to counter.
Blocking.
Michael Lippman just straying into an offside position. And a penalty critically in another kickable area.
And the crowd think that's a pedantic call. I think we might have something to it there. If there's any consolation for England here, the way he's kicked today, this is a very difficult one for Dan Carter, but Carter's got that ability to miss a couple in front of the post and then bisect the post.
If your team got it wrong, well then fine, we'll talk about it afterwards, but at the same time, I'll come over that side. Okay.
Bisect the post like Dylan Armitage. And Richie McCaw, it's an interesting chat with Alan Rolland.
Then and Carter wide again. Problems of the first half return for Dan Carter. It was a testing angle, to be fair, but he is the best.
Maybe New Zealand turned up here, they thought we'll work steamroller over England, and Dan Carter's think I'll head off to Perpignan. Graham Henry and his management, they've got to get their guys thinking. England are making this a real test match.
Henry, Smith and Hansen looking a little bit glum there. Their side still in front though, still at this point heading towards a Grand Slam.
They're not playing well at the moment, though. England have brought them down.
Cowan, 1 minute left on the sin bin, England's latest sin bin. The council let you have 3 bins.
Defensive Alan Rolland is driving the garbage van.
Carter. Oh, that's a lovely break. Sumptuous play from Carter, but then he's rattled by the temple. And a big one too from Armitage. Noon was on hand, but it was Armitage who really went in hard.
That's the magic of Dan Carter. He's off day, he's not kicking well, there's no space. A lovely siding step there, and then that handoff. He's such a powerful man. Really has a great handoff. Phil Vickery, World Cup winning prop, get out of the way. Smashes him, then the step, but Armitage stays strong, and Jamie Noon comes through upper body, 2-on-1, loses contact there. After that break from Carter, knock-on is a good result for England. Hasn't he done well with that man, Dylan Armitage? It's been a good afternoon for London Irish, because Kennedy's gone very well too.
There's been a big debate, hasn't there, about levels of fitness with the ELVs, with all the free kicks down south, and maybe the Southern Hemisphere sides have been that much fitter. I put that point to Jamie Noon in the week, and he said, no, won't have any of that. We felt really strong at the end of games. Obviously took on board, as everybody has in the England playing camp, about the mistakes that have been made, but he was adamant that fitness had not been a problem. But of course he is one of the fittest around. Just tell you about the change before you come in on that, Stuart. The change in the front row, and it's Matt Stevens on for Phil Vickery. Stu.
Well, we can only judge on the evidence of our eyes, and both Australia and South Africa did finish stronger in this game. I think Will made the point at half-time, the penalties have disrupted New Zealand's rhythm, and that has helped England immeasurably. Still got 25 minutes to go, and this is where New Zealand traditionally pick it up. But at the moment, England are playing with some inspiration.
Easter's had a strong game, and Kerr there shows that he's learning. He's getting that ball away quicker and on that boot as quick as he can. Armitage is always going to be chopped, but he's found he's made Easter.
Well, he had poise, didn't he, Dylan Armitage? Again, he's having another very fine game.
Flutie needs poise there, as he had to wait for the ball to come to him. Muliaina, that little chip of his, that's the channel that he likes. And both players do really well, allowing the tackle man to get back on his feet and not losing any of the bite in the contact. Muliaina, that was a good contest. Carter on that diagonal into a lot of space. Kerr,
Scything kick from Carter, beautiful kick.
Here comes Sivivatu. Kerr won't get long, and that put the pressure on. It led to the slice. Some big names in front of Danny Kerr there, some big names of world rugby.
That was a brilliant kick from Daniel Carter. New Zealand are not playing their game, but Carter, a searing cross kick there. Danny Kerr had no angle, he slipped. Carter has given what a team not finding his best needs, the right territory to try and build. England again on the defensive. They need to start working in New Zealand territory at the moment. New Zealand just starting to impose territorial control.
Good long throw from Neil Lamu. Kano's there in midfield. Carter. Alarm bells should be ringing now for England. This is where New Zealand strike, and certainly in the second half, but not this time. Holding on, says Aaron Rolland. There's been a lot of whistle. England won't complain about that particular one.
You know, well, England have conceded a lot of penalties, but the other side of it is that they have put pressure on New Zealand, and New Zealand have not got the quality of ball that they would want, and because of that, once again, England get a penalty where New Zealand so often strike.
And Flood restored, goes for touch. That makes it, and it wasn't too conservative either.
It was a very good kick, wasn't it? Matt Stevens now in on Ali Williams, good body angle there in a defensive sense. The problem is England adopt that attitude, that position in attack. Defensively, that's brilliant from Matt Stevens.
Double change from the All Blacks. Kieran Reid is coming on to win his third cap. He made his debut against Scotland. He's on for Jerome Kano, and that is Nimia Tialata going off for John Arfoa at prop. Here's England's new prop, Matt Stevens. Good offload to Borthwick, his old club colleague at Bath. Toby Flood takes on the New Zealand midfield. Everything is this way for England. They've got nobody to the left at all. Kerr, Lippmann drops it, and now England must fan out to the left. In case of the quick turnover, it doesn't come back. New Zealand ball at the scrum.
Again, Matt Stevens on the pitch, he's had a good impact from the start, hasn't he? He's made one turnover into a penalty, always trying to offload. That's a lovely offload from Stevens there, and Borthwick doesn't carry where he's not very effective. He just moves the ball from the point of contact. Keep it away from this marauding New Zealand back five in terms of the contact area. Unlucky the knock-on in the end, eye off the ball.
So Ialu to Cowan, and Cowan through the gap, is he? Can he get the pass? And he can. Nonu, he's got Reid the replacement, he's going to try and do it himself. Ball's out already, and it's lost by Ford and Woodcock.
Well, that was a golden chance England have been talking about missed opportunities in the last few weeks. Graham Henry must be thinking that could have been the game. That's a lovely break from Cowan. Flood just waits, he has to step back in there. Nonu can't get the pass away to Reed, but he's ball in two hands, he's drawing into him like bees to a honeypot, and then it's a quick ball required, it goes the wrong way. Scrambling defence from England, still in the game.
I mean, clearly New Zealand not at their best, but part of that has to be the fact that England are more than living with the best side in the world at the moment.
Well, they've lifted their game, haven't they, after the shambles that was South Africa last week. And last week, South Africa would have scored. Tom Rees coming on now for Lippmann, who's done admirably. England throwing on all the impact they can gather for 20 minutes. They are still in this game. Johnson said if we get within 60, we could win it. They didn't get anywhere near it against South Africa. Against New Zealand, they are just about within touching reach. Touching distance, I should say.
So Lippmann off, Tom Rees on. Rees after his best game in the series against South Africa. Look at that shove on from the New Zealand pack, and it's New Zealand ball, and it's Smith to Nonu. And surely New Zealand won't waste this chance. Muliaina will get in the corner for that try.
Well, it's beautifully finished by the All Blacks three-quarters, but put that one down to New Zealand's scrum. England, in a defensive scrum, shunted off the ball. What a time for a turnover. And watch Conrad Smith, the way he straightens the man, and Nonu's improvement. He doesn't get try-line fever. Brilliant scrum from New Zealand. Cowan, who's beautiful ball there. Watch now, straightens it up. Smith, Nonu waits, he's patient. Rokothoku 2-on-1. It's lovely handling. It looks easy. It is easy, but New Zealand have done the basics well. That's good from Rokothoku. It's fantastic from Jimmy Cowan.
The All Blacks swoop again. Like we know they can. Created by the power of the forwards, that try. Beautifully finished by the backs, of course, but it wouldn't have happened had it not been for that surge at the scrum. And here's Dan Carter. Still can't find his kicking boots. Let's go down to the front line and a front row man, Phil Greening.
From that scrum, you've got Woodcock here, same position as Vickery, but Matt Stevens has got his right shoulder up. He's let Woodcock get under that right shoulder. Once you do that as a loose head, you're in a whole world of pain. Woodcock feels that, they get under, turn over the ball, and there's some great lines to finish this try off.
And I wonder what Phil Vickery thought of all of that.
That's interesting, isn't it? Very enlightening there from Phil, because Vickery, you know, he's conned the odd penalty, he's put pressure on Woodcock, and then Stevens comes on. We've seen him tackle and offload, but on a key scrum, Woodcock explodes into life, and Stevens' naivety tells. There's not that many scrums in a game, but if you get the big one wrong, you can lose matches.
And now we see England in front of the kicker at the restart. That's offside, and that's the scrum back on halfway.
And England's restart work has been pretty good, hasn't it? But that's the deflationary element that comes with that try.
Harry Ellis is replacing Danny Kerr, as he has done right the way through this series. Ellis, cap number 22 now, having to be content with a place on the bench because of that man Danny Kerr.
Now this is hard times for England, because they've been banging this game. Now they're 11 down with 20 to go. They're vulnerable here. They need to really get their game going again.
Carter. Armitage. Cowan. He's starting to enjoy the game as it goes on. Jimmy Cowan. There's a little bit more space from out there now. McCall. Sidibatu. Just a constant stream of penalties in these positions from England. They can't stem the flow. 13 now.
Listen, look, I'm very dangerous ground here, okay? I'm trying to work, but you're giving me no options, okay? Any more of that crap and they're gone. All right, sort it out, Steve.
I mean, even if you just have to back off and allow New Zealand ball and just say, see if you can score.
Have a shot, please.
England, it's better doing that than giving these penalties away. I mean, my ears are bleeding somewhat at the moment, and a lot of Englishmen will be suffering there. But you can't argue with that. You can't argue. A lot of people, 80,000 right here. Most of these penalties have been conceded by England, as they were 2 weeks ago against Australia. Now and again, you feel that's harsh, but there's almost this English perception, oh, it's pedantic refereeing. It's not. It's constant stupidity from England. It's hurting them horribly.
And Carter determined that time not to make the error. It's a very useful score for New Zealand. It takes them into that 20-point territory. Do England still have the belief?
Well, Miles, one scrum shoved up the ball, one restart where the discipline's not right, one poor penalty, and suddenly you're 10 further points behind. Now England have got to continue to hit like they've just hit McCaw.
Well, certainly still have the commitment, as we saw there. And again from Harry Ellis. Armitage. Saki. Reese. Stevens there, another replacement with him. And another, the scrum half, Harry Ellis, is trying to pull this out. What's Arlo doing? Coming around the wrong side, going off his feet. And again he's on the wrong side, told to roll away by the referee. There's England's 8, Eastern, that's a good ball to Haskell.
Lovely offload, Nicky.
The all ends in another penalty, and it's New Zealand now looking to up the pace.
Hands out! Push back!
Clear signal that they're going for the kill here. Reed.
Yeah, Jimmy Cowan has had an excellent last 10 minutes. He's been at the centre of everything.
The man from Southland, just like Justin Marshall, famous All Black scrum half before him.
I wouldn't say, Miles, that Jimmy Cowan had to spend a part of his life trying to emulate Justin Marshall. But watch this, look at this pass there, reverse pass, it's beautiful, just get it away. Smith straightens it, Nonu does what he does so well, and then Muliaina finishes. The back three strike, as we feared they might.
Haskell was putting his foot in the scrum there. Anyway, away comes Cowan. Oh, that's lovely hands on the floor by Rokocoko to find Reed. Monia has to use all his pace there to get back and stretch and make that tackle. Carter is not going to go wide, he's going to keep it with Muliaina, the try scorer. And as New Zealand have been doing right the way through this tour, they're taking it up a few notches in the second half. By their own high standards, disappointing first periods. It's in the second half when they've come alive. And it's happening again here at Twickenham. Williams. Woodcock.
More danger to the right here.
Cowan. Carter looking all around, time to readjust. Oh, it's plucked out of the air by Muliaina. It's the second for him. It's the second for New Zealand, and we can now confidently say that they are on their way to victory here and a Grand Slam.
Well, Martin, I don't know if it's the luck of genius or just a moment of sheer genius from Daniel Carter there. England now look tired. Jamie New can say we're as fit as the Southern Hemisphere. But with the points raining down against them, England suddenly look out on their feet, and horribly for England, competing for 58 minutes. The score is big. Carter now, he pulls them up, he waits. That is absolutely magnificent from Daniel Carter. What he's done there, he has just allowed England to be drawn in the dinkiest of flips, and Muliaina knows it's coming. He's not been at his best, Carter, but just watch this, wait, pull him on. Well, I still don't know if there's a slight hook in that, but that is just the vision, the awareness. That's what makes a great player. And Muliaina, It's not his two wingers this time, it's the fullback. And now England are 14 minutes away from another horrible scoreline, and they fought so hard. They don't deserve that in terms of commitment.
And Dan Carter keeps the score at a reasonable level. He can smile about it now because I think he, along with the rest of his colleagues, will know that this one is in the bag.
One more look. Is this a fluke? Is this brilliant? It's brilliant, isn't it? I think it's brilliant. What's your view? I'm coloured. I mean, ever since that day in Wellington, second test against the Lions, when he put what I thought was the greatest display I've ever seen from a fly half. I've loved Carter. Hasn't been brilliant today, but I thought that was sensational.
Well, he's so deceptive in so much that he does. There's that lazy, lolloping run of his. You think he's not moving very quickly, but he's screaming over the ground. England have made 2 changes. Saw them come on. We'll come back to those just in case that is live, which it's not. So I'll tell you that Dylan Hartley is the man who's come on at hooker, of course, born in New Zealand. There he is, born in Rotorua, and his parents, Guy and Caroline, here to see him play live for the first time in 7 years. They've made the long trip, and he's now part of England against New Zealand.
Miles out. I thought the touch judge was taking quite a long time there, and I could see why, but he's absolutely right.
Tom Croft is the other replacement. He's wearing 18.
Every turnover is a threat now.
Nonu Muliaina is seeking out a hat-trick here. He's got it on to Sivivatu, and Muliaina might be about to get a hat-trick. He's first to get to the ball, but the fresh drop was there too. Cowan's put it down, but the whistle went before that.
It's carried back by White, scrum it down.
It's brilliant play from Croft. But we said England now being turned over, being torn to pieces. Mills, Muliaina, almost with a hat-trick there. Croft knocks it backwards. Does anyone touch that down? Yes, Croft, well done. Scrum 5 New Zealand though. That was the benefit of having a back row replacement as quick as Croft, wasn't it?
Brad Thorne takes the applause, not at his best day. Conrad Smith, he's done some very good things in tight spots.
Well, that's what he does. He's not the flashiest player in the world. He's not like Nonu, but his line for the try was lovely, and that's what he always does. Now, Carter and Sivivatu threatening together.
Yeah, Smith the snake, and that's not because he's a trained lawyer.
Oh. Just looking at the alignment now. Sivivatu, if we just pan out,
Take it back time.
between Cower and Carter. There we go, number 11. We're going to see him in a second as we go out. There in your screen, the wing just behind Dan Carter. The other side, Nonu. A horrible triangle.
Nigel, all right?
Ellis is doing his best there to stop Sohiala getting that ball away, and it's worked. Haskell now operating at 8 with Croft on the field. And he's having gone off. Ricky Flutie makes a break against the country of his birth. And there's Hartley picking the ball up against his mother country. Stevens.
It's taken back in by England. It's taken back in. Taken back in.
Flood. Oh, Sivivatu. Well, he must have gone over in the end. He was skirting with the touchline and then was outside playing the ball.
He's impressed me today, Sivivatu. Beautifully balanced. Hey, there you go. Actually, the first part he did brilliantly, but then he still had his feet intact when he touched her again. Good kick. Toby Flood gets a little bit fortunate as England get the ball. Now, they're not going to win this game, but it would be something of a lift if England could breach this black wall that has suffocated the Northern Hemisphere, that has brought down an early winter upon the British Isles and Ireland.
Ellis, Flood, the Leicester combination, and Paul Sakiev was the winger. There's his teammate in Tom Rees. Clubmate.
Hands out, that's a rock!
Strength there from Hartley. Haskell. What have England got in this last 10? Moon. Armitage after this. Muliaina now the defender. And a good defender as well. Chance though for Monuat to launch it right back. Picking out Sowiala and bouncing off him. Hartley. Surely wasn't shaping the kick. He's got all the skills though. Here comes Tim Payne. Oh, Blacks are winning this. Turnover ball, and it's Newman Weeper, scrum half, out to Mialamu. Mialamu looking at that straight line. He's picked out Rokotoko, he's picked out Nono. This is going to be an absolutely brilliant score, unless Croft can get there, as you can't. Nono gets it, and that is why New Zealand are the best side in the world this year.
Kevin Mialamu, that was brilliant. Mialamu was part of a New Zealand scrum that pushed England off the ball for the key turnover. Now we've seen the other side of Mialamu. Quite wonderful offloading skills from New Zealand, and Nonu's tracking and support, wonderful. New Zealand win the contact, they win the turnover. Reed's involved, Rodney Sowiala's involved, McCaw's there. It comes quick, but watch Kev Mialamu now. This is the moment. Brilliant from the hooker. The dummy, the check, the offload, the way, gorgeous from Rokotoko, and Nonu goes 60. It caps a wonderful 2008, where Ma Nonu's gone from bit part player to world-class centre.
And the conversion from Dan Carter is successful.
This is
highly successful, straightened up beautifully, Mialamu.
It's Sivivatu, the left wing, is coming from the right wing infield. The interplay between Mialamu and Sivivatu was quite divine. Croft has made a great effort. He saved one try minutes ago. You can't stop Nonu this time. And horribly now for England, they're miles behind, and it looks an awful scoreboard.
And it's turning into the kind of win that New Zealand were wanting. And another uncomfortable finish for England.
Yes, it is. I mean, England simply have to come away with something now. It's no good saying we were good for 60, because in 13 minutes New Zealand have opened up a gulf.
Haskell. Oh, it's an interception. And they're trying to get there in support.
Well done,
Sivivatu and Ellis just getting back there. Croft nearly got back on Nonu, Ellis did, otherwise it would have been another try. Lovely little flick from Nonu. Rokotoko just didn't look where he was going, perhaps he should have done that time. That was just a little bit too flash.
Back in was forward.
Now, it's not the circus, Joe. He could have been away. I mean, that's a very unselfish win, considering his strike rate is nearly one try a match. But oh dear, this is what England have to do. I'm not going to criticise Haskell for that. Some great defence. Harry Ellis back on Sivivatu. They haven't stopped fighting defensively, scrambling well, and this time Rokotoko, you think you've got to go on the outside, flicks it inside. New Zealand know the Grand Slam is theirs.
Dan Hipkiss has replaced Paul Saki. Saki injured, had to leave the field. Hipkiss forced on a winger. England have to realign it. There's Dan Hipkiss and Danny Cipriani is on as well now.
Just look at this. This is a gulf in attacking ability. England, lots of commitment, lots of effort. 5 defenders beaten. New Zealand 17. Those back 3 are so dangerous. England struggle to create broken field, and when they get it, they just don't have the power. But you know, apart from maybe Havana, Peterson last week, is there any country in the world that can live with Sivivatu, Rokotoko and Muliaina, with Ma Nonu growing into that 12 role, really growing?
Well, Muliaina's got 24 international tries now. Rokotoko started the day 43, still there. Sivivatu 28. I mean, there's a back 3. I mean, what scoring power! But it's not just the way they run in the tries; it's the way they create chances. But not just that group of 3, but the others as well.
They've really developed as players, haven't they? Really have. More problems now on the turnover.
5 long minutes here for England. Carter against Flood and Flutie. Cipriani's gone into full-back with Armitage on the wing. It's going to be another Simbin. That pocket is going to be opened once more.
Is this a record for England? Tom Rees, he was penalised actually 10 minutes ago, but blimey, I don't know. Well, at least, Miles, if England have learned one lesson, it's going to be against certain referees, you have to be cautious as possible. England are livid, and you can't understand why. A lot of the problems their own, but 4 yellow cards, it's killed them. Look at this blindside now as well, Miles. Muliaina is looking deadly.
Yellow cards littered around the field like confetti.
Stand in the middle, put it in straight.
Look at this open side on your field, left-hand side as you look. Muliaina on one side, 4 All Blacks on the other. Dan Hipkiss and Ugo Monya have got Muliaina and Rokethoko. Kansoialu and Ripu unleash them on that big open side. Or do they switch to Carter? So good in so little space.
England in white, but feeling black.
Touch, pause, engage.
The All Blacks. Look at the hunger in those eyes.
Time off.
Just confirm the attendance for you. Almost up to that 82,000 mark.
Holland has been ruthless. I don't think there'll be a single England fan,
Pause, engage.
coach, player who would disagree with that. Ruthless.
Yeah, I know. Lost forward.
Lost by Ripu. Well, it's a regular occurrence this autumn, but England approaching the final minutes of an international match against a Southern Hemisphere side, Tri-Nations team, looking for that small consolation of a try at the end, something to shout about at least for their supporters. Your man of the match, Stuart, in this Investec Series game.
Well, again, the New Zealand back row have been very prominent. Richie McCaw and Soiala have been close. The back three have been close. I think we'll just keep you waiting for a minute.
And Roland doesn't keep us waiting for the next penalty. England supporters demanding a sin bin in return. I think Toby Flood's making the same point as well. And his captain Steve Borthwick.
They thought they had it.
Got a point.
Well, let's get back to man of the match. The back row excellent, the back three good. Muliaina and Sipi Batu really good. But I think Marnonu's capped an outstanding year. He's created a try, he's finished one. His defensive work has been really good. His distribution, Marnonu from bit part play up to world-class inside centre. He is my Investec man of the match. Come on, give us a bit of magic now in the last minute of the autumn internationals.
New Zealand not quite up to their total here in 2006. 9 points shy of that. Looking Futi's chase, it's a good offload though by Sipi Batu to McCaw and Muliaina. Toyama, the replacement, and Rokethoko. Rokethoko that's forward. It's the last minute and England will get one last scrub. Just got a bit loose, Joe Rokethoko, in the last 5 minutes, trying a bit too much, maybe.
There is a golfing class when this game opens up, and the worry for England is against South Africa and again today, the last 15-20, whatever Jamie Noon may say, when the pace of this game picks up and the legs start to tire, England have got no answers, and the field suddenly looks twice as wide in the last 20 as it does for the first 60.
Look at the power in that scrum again.
It's got to come straight out of the tunnel.
England going to get one last chance from a reset scrum. No, they're not. For New Zealand, it's a grand slam. For England, an autumnal wooden spoon against the Tri-Nations. 3 defeats and 3 sobering weekends of international rugby.
Yeah, there will be headlines about England's 4 yellow cards, and there will be hysterics about the refereeing. But England still do give too many penalties away of their own volition. The discipline's not good enough, and undoubtedly England have to commit so many